Same way I experienced myself in polymer marketing. Like we had developed a relationship with Phenolics and they were entering into the PVC resin, this is a petrochemicals polymer product. They were looking for some marketing tie-up in Gujarat. So this is Rajiv, do you have somebody in Gujarat who is very well established in this? They tried, they interviewed, but then they thought that Rajiv, why don't you venture into it? I said, all right, I don't know ABC about the petrochemicals, but I don't mind trying it. So I took that agency, took a challenge, become successful. Then after I added Haldia Petrochemicals, HPCL Mittal, LG Polymers, Jindal Polyester, and many other foreign companies. And today, number product-wise, number of agency-wise, I'm again a largest polymer agency house in Gujarat. So this is basically, if you work towards your passion, you can be always successful. I have not talk about hardcore innovation, but innovation is the idea that is accepted by market, government, and society. It should be affordable, it should be useful, it should be ethical because accepted by government, and acceptable by society. I am confident that initiative by GIS Gujarat will become an innovation hub very soon, with the help of enterprising spirit of Gujaratis, positive attitudes of government, and availability of money with the people for the innovation. Only just today I defined what is the meaning of today. Today means the opportunity to do and work better than yesterday. May your each today be better than each yesterday. I would request friends from media to write an article on innovation every day. And I will conclude with this one quote, and would like to say that honeybees must tap 200 flowers to make one drop of honey. See the efforts. Remember, the sweetest rewards come from the consistent and hard work, provided it is registered as IPR or trademark or a brand or a trademark. Thank you very much and all the very best to GIS. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rastopal. Thank you for that. Of course, it's the turn of Mr. Madhu Mehta. We know that I create is the buzzword right now in Gujarat because it was just last week that happened. Mr. Madhu Mehta, thank you for spending time, please.
Thank you. The time is getting welcome, and thanks for the opportunity to be here and sharing something with you. Respected individuals on the desk, invited guests, friends. What I need to do in 5 minutes is to give you some idea of what I create stands for, what I create means for you, and what we will do and probably what we won't do. I create is an environment that we are trying to create. So let me start with a simple story. And as Laval introduced me to begin with, he said that we have a team of people who were all parts of Nirmal Labs, which was where our initial experiment was. The story is from Nirmal Labs. There was a kid who came from Rai University, and he came to Nirmal Labs and he said, I'm in the final year, I want to pursue entrepreneurship, and can you help me? And he went through the program, and at the end of the program he said, I'm from Kerala, I know that there is a material in prawns which has the capability of stopping profuse bleeding, and I would like to develop that kind of a dressing. And so ourselves, we did not know much about such type of things. We asked him to give us a lot of details. He showed how it can be done, and then we encouraged him. Fast forward that 4.5 years now. This year, before December, he has gone through all sorts of things, which is developing the protocol, making a patch, doing animal testing and whatnot. And he has gone through that journey, and he has come to a stage where he has all the permissions which are required for use of that on the human being. And he has come to a stage where trials can be done at civil hospital in Ahmedabad. Now imagine, fast forward today, December, a fellow falls off the electric pole. Electrician on the pole falls off, cuts his skull. That skull is so badly cut that the person is profusely bleeding, he is brought to civil hospital. This doctor say, unless the bleeding stop, we cannot do anything. We have to take him for CT scan, whatnot. So they say, okay, when the time is tough, that's when you get the trial. So they say, okay, you try. So they take this patch, put it on that wound, minute and a half, the blood stops. The person is taken into the CT scan and whatnot. Hour and a half later, he comes back. One of the characteristics that you must have is when you remove that patch, it should not reopen the wound. You put saline water around it, and like post-it notes, it is removed very easily, and the skull has a very clean cut scar that you will have when you cut yourself and the blood coagulates. He has created what we call next generation entrepreneurship. So much so that knowing about this, all of you probably know about Manja cut, right? And you probably have read a story where the police department went to him and said, this January 14th, we want to avoid people dying without, unnecessarily dying because of Manja cut. And so he lent 50 of these dressings. 22 of these dressings were used, and we know for sure that 2 lives were saved. So this is next generation entrepreneurship. Next generation entrepreneurship is to apply technology, innovation, creativity, knowledge, amalgamate that with multidisciplinary exposure to be able to create something which makes a difference. And that is what is attempted in an environment which permits that. Requires, unfortunately our education system constrains such thinking. And an environment which is required is where, as you rightly said, as Mr. Nanavati said earlier, encourages people to do experiment and encourages and tolerates mistakes or faults when it is not a fault of yours, so that you are able to iteratively learn. Anyway, he described the entire process of innovation which is existing in 3M, and I Create is an attempt to create an environment where we are able to provide people with money, mentors and market, but more importantly an environment where they are able to experiment. There is going to be global network, so you are able to interface with a lot of people. What is our approach? Our approach is seek and amplify. So basically, we are going to look for people who have those attributes, and then we are going to bring them to iCreate or encourage them to come to iCreate, and then we are going to amplify whatever they can do. So our model is very unique. We are betting on individuals. So the individuals have to be sought out. So seek and amplify, bet on individual. Once you bet on an individual, then you cannot possibly really say, okay, what is the idea that you have? You have to work with them. So the next thing is that you get involved through the life cycle of their journey. We are International Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology. So the very keywords, international, so it's global in scope. It is a center which is having autonomous operation. It is done with government's support. It is a pet project of our Chief Minister, and he launched it in September 11th. We were able to get Mr. Narayan Murthy to consent to be the chairperson of the advisory board. We have a very powerful advisory committee, and the whole attempt is to create right environment whereby we would be able to support those individuals who will have those attributes to be able to take it. But the attempt is on entrepreneurship, not only on research. The attempt is to be able to do something which makes a difference. I guess these words are probably enough for you to appreciate. Generally speaking, if you want to know more, best thing is to go to the website www.icreate.org.in. Please visit our website and let us see whether there is anything that we can do for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mehta. I mean, for the benefit of the audience, Mr. Mehta is on the boards of varied organizations and advises very many companies in the state actually. Moving forward, Nanda Saab, I request you for your time and your thoughts on innovation leading to growth, please. Thank you.
Nanavati and dignitaries in the dais and our specially invited guests for this first innovation linked celebration and the birthday for the global, what he has rechristened the name as a global association for the innovation. Now the platform is created in Ahmedabad, probably in Gujarat, where, and also outside Gujarat, where a lot of innovators would find a place to come here. But innovation can also be dangerous. You know how? When George Bush wanted that every postal stamp should carry his figurehead, and asked the postal secretary that you must ask the post department to see that it is printed in millions. The postal secretary who was there, he must be one of us. She must be an innovator, but she was an innovator at that point of time in a regressive analysis, on the regression side of innovation. So then when the postal stamps along with the covers used to come, George Bush said that I have to sack you because you have not performed the job. He said, no sir, I have performed my job not bad. It was the press which wrongly put your side on the other side, people have spit it on the wrong side. So therefore you are already there in the cover but subdued. So this is an instance which we also say that innovation could also be very regressively dangerous if it is used on an unethical angle. Anyway, I didn't want to mince any words further, excepting saying that all the people who are here somewhere or the other involved with innovation in one way or the other, every day, every minute, every hour of their life. In case if you are really innovator, you are dived into. There is no question that you can be out of the bathtub. But there are three things which I see. One, the innovator is one who has to connect with himself. Second, he has to connect with the people for whom he is innovating. And third is that he has to connect himself with the value for money. If an innovator loses or is not sure or has got some inadequacy on either of the three fronts, he can never be able to innovate. He has to have tremendous power of creativity, complete communication within himself, complete overconfidence in his ability to drive, and also he must be able to see that whatever he is doing, it has got a value for money. And definitely he should see on the other side of the table. If I am speaking on this side of the table, I am absolutely an idiot if I do not see what you like to see in me. And I have to see the first point from your side that what is on the other side of the table. If I don't perceive that, probably I would be a very poor speaker. In the same way, the fellow who is doing it has to have the same ability to perceive and to also estimate. Madhubai was talking about the patches. Let me here mention, because it was a very dear example he gave, and this is where something which I have been able to do on myself, and you must be probably aware of, and that is that, I one day estimated that the housewives got absolutely enamored with the idea that if the Chinese imported plastic robes are used during the kite flying, the manja would be costing 60 rupees or 50 rupees, whereas the normal manja cost them 85 to 90 rupees. This feedback came to us. As usual, in Gujarat, when we share one cup of tea with 4 people, it was not unusual on my part, being a man of this cadre, not to have thought immediately of the issue. So what we did was, we started trying to put some ban. But we have to come out with some kind of a verbose for it. Let me tell you, it is within the hall. If I say that I put a ban, some of you will go to the High Court, you say that Article 19 FG guarantees my right to freedom of business. Who is that fellow to put a ban? How can he deprive me of my business? So we had to innovate in our order. I'm giving an instance because Madhubhai had just mentioned about those 2 deaths. We said Gujarat has got 5.5 crores population. Our estimated figure says that 20% of the people, they use one full manja, which means 500 yards. So if 1.5 crores population use 500 yards of manja, which flies suspended in the air and falls after evening hours on the earth, it would lead to 500 crore yards in Gujarat, which will block the water, sewerage, garbage, soil degradation is not possible, and it would be the greatest environmental disaster and colossal problem. This was our drafting. Why? We preempted that if someone goes to High Court with this kind of application of mind, no High Court judge, we know them, we know how they innovate.